we want to learn about the sanctuary, the old sanctuary, how it was and how it looked, and the work the sanctuary was doing. When we are starting from the outer side, we can see the fencing the the sanctuary, all dividing the sanctuary, and the camp. The people were living outside the camps. So, meaning the sanctuary was near to people. When people have gone against God, all they have sinned, where they were going for cleansing and remission of their sins after making their sacrifices. Walk with me as I walk you through the main, all the main sanctuary and the works which were done. This is the burning offerings. This is where the offerings were burned after a sinner has committed sin. He comes with a spotless lamb, which was symbolizing Christ himself. And he was putting it here, taking a knife, tie his legs, cut here, and the blood was taken by the priest. This is where, and this the burning altars, it was found in the outer court side. We find that the sanctuary has three layers: the outer court, the inner, or the holy and the most holy place, where we find the altar of burning offerings. It was made up of acacia goods covered with copper, and it has 4 horns. These are the 4 horns: 1, 2, 3, 4. In every corner, we can see their horns. Were carried around using all fixed itself. Underneath it was everlasting fire. Above all the fires was net on which the sacrifices is placed. So we can see here, it's where the sacrifices were done. After the sacrifices, the sin sacrifice was burnt outside of the camp in a special place where the ashes were put. But the fats were burned on the altars, and the blood was sprinkled before the veil of the sanctuary. Put all the horns of the incense altar and poured out at the base of the altars. After, now we have the second furniture, which is the basin, or which is referred as the veil. The veil, it's where the water was, and the sinner was washing his hands. It signifies the baptism that we are doing today. And it was made up of pure copper and had no specific measurements. Unlike the altars of the burning offerings that carried around using poles, lava had a special frame that was used to carry it around the lava, held it living water from sprinkling or a stream. This was used by a priest to wash their hands and feet before performing any sacrifices. As I've told you, this is where the priest was washing his hands and feet before doing any sacrifice, getting into the holy place to perform their duties. Meaning that this shows or symbolizes the baptismal, that we are immersed in water for our sins to be cleansed. And again, it gives us a new chapter in life. It is not the same person whom you knew. Now, after the priest has washed his hands and feet, now he enters into the holy place, where we find there was a lampstand, the table of the shewbread, and we have the cupboard. Now, the table, number one, let me explain what was the work of the table of the shewbread. It was made of acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold. It was also had good poles covered in gold. Set the rings for hand carrying. You can see this is the hand carryings. It also had dishes inside. These are the dishes. These are the dishes, and these are the shewbread. And it had there were 12 pieces of bread. As you can see, my cameraman can show you, these were the 12 shewbread, which was in the table. The priest ate the lavished bread every Sabbath, and they replaced them with fresh ones, a picture of God's continued provision. We had the lampstand. Here you can see the lampstand. This is the lampstand, and it was on the left side. It had, it was to give light to the world. This lampstand had no specific measurements, and it was made of one piece of pure gold. It had no wood. It had a central shaft and 6 branches, 3 on each side of the shaft. There was an almond flower and no pattern on each branch. The lamp was filled with pure oil. There were no rods for carrying, but a special frame was used to the same, fresh. Pure oil was added every morning and evening. The wicks were trimmed, as this was the only source of light. As I've told you, this was the source of light, and the light was given when you are in the holy place. And this is where the burn of incense were done. The burn of burning incense. Then after that, the priest was moving or coming with the blood which he had, he sprinkles into the veil. This was the veil, and it had colors, as you can see. The work of this the work of this veil was dividing between the holy place and the most holy place. Now we are entering into the most holy place, where we find the Ark of the Covenant. This was the Ark of the Covenant. It was carried and placed there in the Ark of the Covenant. What was inside here? It was the 10 commandments of God. We had the 2 angelic and the mercy seats. This is where the priest was coming every year to make the sacrifices of every year. Those all sins which were piled in the whole year, now the priest was making a sacrifice. Remember, it was not every priest who was entering into the most holy place, but was the chief or the high priest. He was the one who was allowed to enter into the most holy place to do the sacrifices. Friends, meaning that now the sins that have accumulated in the whole year, this is where the high priest was coming into the presence of God and Jesus Christ where he was, so that he can cleanse those sins. Now, after Jesus has died on the cross, he went and he took the position of the high priest, where he is currently in the heaven interceding with us. Now he is in the most holy place interceding with us. Friends, as I conclude, this is just a schedule, a sketch It is not the real sanctuary, but it's just to show how the sanctuary was looking and the services which were done in the sanctuary. Thank you for taking your time to follow us and watch this episode. See you next time.